Hello, my music-loving friends. We are going to be adding to the inside of your book again today. We are going to open up our diagram here, and we are going to describe inside of our diagram the bow distribution symbols that we most commonly use. All right, now some of those are just already parts of the bow. We're going to start by just describing two parts of the bow, and I'm going to teach you how to write what's called an abbreviation. An abbreviation is where you take a longer word and you use just little parts of it to make a shorter version of it. Let's start with the point. I'm going to start using some colors here. Let's put a little arrow toward the point, and we're going to write the whole word, P-O-I-N-T. Now, when I want my students to stay near the point or start at the point, I want to just tell them something about the point in their music, I use the abbreviation P-T. Okay? Let's go all the way to the other end of the bow here, and let's label the frog. So let's put an arrow. Remember, that's this black piece right here. So let's put a little arrow toward that. And the frog is spelled F-R-O-G, frog. And if I want my students to play at the frog on their music, I write F-R. Again, you should pause anytime you feel like you need time to catch up with something I'm doing. All right, we're going to put something on this side, and I want you to pay attention to how I mark this diagram. So, as I was saying before, when you're a beginner, you often start in just playing in the middle of the bow. It's the easiest place to make a good sound. So we're going to draw a little bracket. Here's what a bracket is. It has a little thing here and a little thing here, and then you connect them. And it means we're talking about this entire section. Okay? So make your bracket, just like I did. And then this is describing the middle bow. So let's write those words. Middle is M-I-D-D-L-E. And of course the word bow is B-O-W. And we abbreviate that. If I want my students to play in the middle bow, but I don't want to write that whole thing, I write M-B. Make sure you pause if you need time to catch up on that. I want something to be more colorful here. I think, maybe blue would be fun. So we're going to be drawing some more brackets, but first let's talk about what it means to use half of something. If you've ever had a delicious cookie and maybe you had a friend who you wanted to share it with, you might take your cookie and make it into two pieces and hand half to your friend and save half for yourself. So half means we take something and we make two even pieces of it. Well, with your bow, sometimes we only want to play with half of the bow. If we think of where the exact middle of the bow is, this is the lower half of the bow and this is the upper half of the bow. So we are going to make brackets just like we did with the middle bow, and then we're going to label them, okay? So start a bracket right here, and then put a little bracket at the ending of the bracket up here, and then connect those. That's going to be the upper half. And let's make our other bracket. Starting here, and then going here, and connect those. Okay, so that's half of your bow and half of your bow. You can see my lines are not perfectly straight. That is okay. We're not going to be perfectionists about our work when we're making a craft. All right, so I was telling you that this is called the upper half and this is called the lower half. Let's start by labeling this one. Upper is spelled U-P-P-E-R. The word half has a silent letter in it. It's spelled H-A-L-F. The L is silent. So this is upper half. And when I want to write that on my students' papers, and I don't want to write all of that, I put a UH. It looks like this, UH. And just because I think it's useful in case we ever write it this way on your music, and because you're going to see it this way in school when you're working on fractions, the word half can sometimes be written with numbers instead, and it looks like this, 1/2. So we're going to add all of that so you have all of the information that you need. This would be a good time to pause if you haven't written all of that. Let's label the lower half. Lower is spelled L-O-W-E-R, and half is spelled the same way as up there, H-A-L-F, half. And just like we did UH for upper half, we're going to do LH for lower half. So let's put LH. And then, of course, half can sometimes be written with a 1/2. So I'm reminding myself of that there. We have one more to put over here, and it's a very important one. You know, I'm going to use a new color for it. I think I'm going to go with purple for this one. We need a big bracket, but we also still need room to write over here. So we're going to make a bracket that goes all the way from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to make a line that goes shh. And notice it goes out so that I can get past here. And shh. And watch, I'm going to connect those into one huge bracket. Oh my goodness. What on earth could we be labeling? We're going to label the whole bow. So the word whole, when we talk about the whole bow or the entire bow, is spelled, it's got another silent letter, so it's spelled a little bit funny. It's spelled like this. W-H-O-L-E, whole. And then the word bow is spelled like it's always spelled, B-O-W. And just like we used the first letter of these words to make a shorter version of that, we're going to write WB when we need this on your music so we don't have to write the whole words out. So that's WB. Okay? So now these are all of your bow distribution markings, and your teacher will be putting some of these or maybe some other variations on these on your music to help you make the best sound possible. All right, so you're done adding things to your book for today. So you can close that. You can close this. And don't forget to put it with your music binder so you have it in your lessons. See you next time.